Okay, so welcome everybody. So welcome to the Plant-Based Treaties webinar on menu change.
My name is Nilgün, and I'm a plant-based treaty campaigner from Turkey. Together with my co-presenter Hoshimi from Plant-Based Treaty Georgia, we are going to help you veganize your city's restaurants, cafes, and bars. Before we start, please introduce yourself in the chat and tell us where you are from. We will be taking questions at the end of the presentation.
Thanks everyone again for joining our 100 Cafes campaign. So with your help, we are trying to get 100 cafes in 100 cities to increase plant-based options over the next 6 months. And if we succeed, that will be 10,000 menu changes and plant-based promotions worldwide in 2024. Imagine walking down the street and seeing plant-based stickers everywhere you go. It will help normalize plant-based food and encourage more people to try plant-based milk in their coffee. So if you haven't already, please sign up as an individual or team and pledge to visit 100 businesses as a part of the 100 Cafes campaign. Right now, our assistant will post a link in the chat for you.
We will quickly run over the agenda for this webinar. 1. Why add plant-based dishes? 2. What cafes and restaurants can do? 3. What success have we had so far? 4. How to join the 100 Cafes campaign. 5. Resources available. And 6. Support we can offer.
So why add plant-based dishes? The global food system is responsible for 1/3 of greenhouse gas emissions, and these emissions alone will make the Paris Agreement's 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius limit impossible. Cafes, restaurants, and anyone serving food can help transform the food system by shifting to a plant-based menu.
As providers and consumers of food, we can all make a difference. Plant-based dishes offer businesses the chance to produce low-cost, tasty meals, which is especially important given the cost of living crisis. Increasing plant-based options on the menu helps normalize plant-based meals as something for everyone to eat. This can help shift the narrative and perception of plant-based diets.
Restaurants can prove that plant-based food can be just as tasty, if not even better, than animal-based food. For example, in Paris at the Olympics this year, 60% of meals will be plant-based, and chefs are developing indulgent and irresistible plant-based alternatives to French cuisine. Plant-based dishes are more inclusive and contain fewer allergens than meals that contain dairy and eggs.
What you can ask cafes and restaurants to do? Of course, switching to a fully vegan menu is the optimal choice. However, we appreciate that many businesses will be hesitant to take a big leap. They need to feel confident that their sales won't be hurt and that customers will support their journey. It is important for demand to match supply for success. While fully plant-based menus are the ultimate goal, every restaurant must take steps in that direction. Cafes, restaurants, and anyone serving food need to lead the way in promoting plant-based food and transforming the food system by shifting to plant-based menus. We, as advocates, are here to support the businesses to help them make these climate-friendly dishes popular, easier, low-cost, nutritious, and delicious.
And now, here are 12 things you can ask 100 cafes and restaurants where you live to do. Number 1, ask businesses to display window clings and stickers on the storefront to promote plant-based offerings and normalize plant-based food. For example, the image on the right is from a cafe called Sticha here in Tbilisi, Georgia. And they have a sticker on their door which says, "We have plant-based milks," as well as "We endorse the plant-based treaty." On the left, we have another cafe in Tbilisi, and it's called But First Cacao. And they serve drinks using homemade plant milks, such as almond, walnut, and cashew. And some other ideas for messages on stickers include, for example, vegan options available, or plant-based milk at no extra charge, 100% plant-based business, we serve plant-based milk by default, etc.
Number 2, introduce or increase plant-based options on the menus. Once you do it, people will notice them more and will be tempted to try them. It's good to place plant-based options prominently on the menu and to list them before options containing meat, dairy, and eggs. One study suggests that there is a tipping point where people choose plant-based dishes when 75% or more of the menu is vegan.
Number 3, offer plant-based versions of meat dishes. Give people the option to choose plant-based versions of popular dishes like burgers. Also, you can assess the menu to identify items where the recipe can be easily made plant-based without changing the tastes. This works particularly well for condiments, cakes, cookies, brownies, pastries, salad dressings, and soups.
Number 4, encourage businesses to source local ingredients such as from local markets and farmers to support the environment and highlight seasonal vegetables for their health benefits.
Number 5, end plant-based milk surcharges. Cafes that charge more for drinks made with plant-based milk can level the playing fields by removing their surcharges and instead adding a small price increase to all drinks. Alternatively, they could charge more for dairy and make plant-based milk the cheapest option. Another thing cafes can do is to make plant-based milk the default option in drinks. And let us know in the comments, what's your favorite plant-based milk?
Number 6, menu design. Display plant-based options more prominently on menus. Ask them to avoid listing plant-based items in a separate section. Rather, ask them to list plant-based items first on the main menu. Ask staff to show off your plant-based dishes by promoting the items as recommended dishes. Menu descriptions are also important. You can improve the dining experience by describing dishes better. Use inciting words to describe your plant-based dishes, focusing on how good they taste instead of mentioning things like vegan, low-fat, or meat-free. When non-vegans see word descriptions like vegan burger, some people can think these items are not for them. So instead, use descriptions such as mighty mushroom cheeseburger or Cajun spiced bean and creamy cashew burger. By making items sound delicious, they become more appealing. More subtle visual cues can be used to indicate they are plant-based, such as small letter V or color-coded labels on the menu.
Number 7, specials. Feature plant-based meals on the daily specials board. Plant-based meals can be delicious and even more tasty than meat and dairy dishes. Cafes can work on making their plant-based dishes tastier and more interesting by using different herbs, spices, and sauces. Developing plant-based meals may be new to some chefs, but do encourage them to research and experiment. After all, there are a number of 100% plant-based restaurants who have been awarded Michelin stars. Make plant-based add-ons the default. So instead of automatically giving people animal-based condiments and dairy products, ask businesses to use plant-based ones that are suitable for everyone to use. This can work well for things like ketchups, mayonnaise, and slaws where no one will be able to tell the difference. And number 8, carbon labeling. Ask businesses to add carbon, water, and biodiversity labeling to menus to encourage people to use the most sustainable options.
Number 9, promotion. Showcase plant-based dishes on social media and advertising materials. Businesses can make the plant-based options cheaper to encourage people to try them. And also they can make their daily specials plant-based to create excitement about the dishes. Engaging your customers by letting people try plant-based food. Offer free samples of plant-based dishes so people can try them out before committing to a full meal.
Number 10, special occasions. Ask cafes and restaurants to join special initiatives like Veganuary, Earth Month, global climate talks such as the COP conferences and holidays. Or have plant-based days. Take advantages of campaigns like Meat-Free Mondays to exclusively plant-based dishes or specials on specific days.
Number 11, endorse and educate. Ask the cafe to endorse the plant-based treaty on the homepage of our website. They can also collect endorsements on our behalf and hang educational pictures on their wall using our PBT starter kit graphics. Please ask them to promote the treaty by stocking plant-based treaties vegan starter kits in store for customers to take. Put up posters and plant-based treaty flags. We met at Bakkal in Ankara when they announced their upcoming opening, and we offered to facilitate the opening party. Offering our assistance to promote their business created a mutually beneficial relationship. Now, they introduce every new business partner to our team, allowing us to expand the PBT campaign in our city.
Number 12, talk about sustainability. Use marketing to show how good for the environment your plant-based dishes are, rather than just talking about problems. In the photo, you can see Etik Bakal, which Nilgun mentioned earlier, which is a vegan business, and they promote the plant-based treaty by hanging our flag on their window.
And now with the bonus tips. Training your staff can be one of them. Train your chefs. Teach your chefs how to make great plant-based dishes and encourage them to get creative. And get your front of house staff involved by letting them try the dishes and learn about their benefits. This way, they can recommend them to customers. In these photos, you can see the smiling faces of Maxeri Hotel chef and assistant tasting soy mince quesadilla for the first time. We conducted a two-day training at their hotel, educating them about plant-based products and how they can easily be integrated into their regular menu. Later, they allocated a part of their dinner buffet to plant-based dishes. Another tip is engaging with your community. To increase the chance of success and maximize the number of cafes, you can partner with local vegan or plant-based groups to get support and ideas. You can also collaborate on events to promote sustainable dining. Last but not least, another bonus tip is to ask businesses to include PBT cards with their purchase. As you can see here, 2 cafes and store in Turkey include each delivery. The cards have the QR code of PBT website, and through this, the customers are encouraged to endorse the treaty.
So there were they were the 12 tips. And now we're going to go into success stories. And here are some global examples of thriving plant-based initiatives from around the world. First up, we have Toronto. The Plant-Based Treaty Toronto University of Toronto team was able to make one of the vending machines on campus to serve fully vegan snacks for the entire month of January for the Veganuary campaign, and then later in April for Earth Month, and then followed by Meatless May, and then throughout the summer.
In India, our plant-based treaty team from Kunti district of Jharkhand convinced the owners of Munda Hotel to switch to 100% plant-based. The hotel had a vegetarian eatery in Jharkhand that used dairy in one of their dishes, which the team successfully managed to convince them to remove. The hotel has reported back that removing dairy has not impacted sales, and they have also saved costs.
And here in Georgia, the Plant-Based Treaty Tbilisi team asked cafes and restaurants to veganize their menus for Earth Month in April. We were able to get 4 cafes to add vegan options, 5 vegan cafes and 2 non-vegan cafes to endorse the plant-based treaty, and dozens of cafes and restaurants around town put up the "We serve vegan" options or "We have plant-based milk" stickers on their windows.
And here in Turkey, Hypatia Cafe, a non-vegan cafe in Ankara, has hosted several vegan cooking shops in collaboration with the Turkish PBT team and has introduced vegan options on their menu. Similarly, the Turkish PBT team has conducted workshops in 7 cafes and 2 hotels in Didim, resulting in the addition of vegan options to their menus as well. Recently, Siyezevi, Roma Ice Cream Shop, and Yeryüzü Kooperatifi in Turkey added vegan options to their menu.
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a plant-based treaty campaigner introduced Jenna Roaster Cafe to egg replacers such as Just Egg, and now they're using them to bake vegan chocolate cakes. So you can visit www.plantbasedtreaty.org/100cafes campaign, where you can access free resources. For example, we have a whole list of things here you can download. Some of them include your 100 cafes campaign guide, a campaign tracker template, sample default oat milk fact sheet that you can customize for your campaign, and best practices for preparing plant-based food in the kitchen, 3 simple low-cost plant-based recipes, printable flag designed for plant-based treaty-friendly businesses, plant-based treaty endorsement sign-up sheets to leave at businesses, business cards and designs, a sample flyer that you can customize for your campaign.
Join the 100 Cafes campaign. If you haven't already, please sign up as an individual or a team and pledge to visit 100 businesses as a part of our 100 Cafes campaign. We will post a link in the chat now.
So you got this. Sometimes when you approach businesses, it might feel a bit, daunting, but don't feel discouraged if you don't get a positive response straight away, because you'll never know. Sometimes those people who seem really reluctant at first, they might surprisingly change their minds later on. And also, you are not alone. Even if you're from a small town, big town, it doesn't really matter, because you're a part of a global movement that's doing good for the planet and all of its inhabitants. So everything you do counts. And even if you don't see the results immediately, you're actually doing a really, really good thing.
Let's be in touch. Share your experience with us. Do you have any success stories? Any tips or things you learned which you would like to share? Feel free to send us photos and videos, please. I can help you with this campaign. Adrian from marketing can get you materials, and Varun from digital media can help with posting. Thank you for your attention. Now we will answer the questions in the chat.
Okay, so if you have any questions, please put them instead of the chat box. We have a separate Q&A box. If you put it in there, then we can answer them for you. So first, Carl Purcell asks, will you send your slides? Yes, we can export this presentation for you, and we can make it available for you as well. How will we do this? Does everyone who registered get sent the link, or otherwise you can contact us, neilgoon@plantbasedtreaty.org or hashimi@plantbasedtreaty.org. Send us an email and we can definitely send you the link.
I can see another question. Can this be organized in all 200 nations of planet Earth? I think it can be organized. Anyone eating or anyone serving any food can be a part of this program, because peace starts in our plate, and we are trying to bring the peace to our plate. This campaign will strengthen our movement and help the planet to heal. It is applicable to all nations.
Okay, and Michael Brixie, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, asks, is there a quick way of explaining to staff or restaurant cafe what vegan means without running into issues like no milk, but cream is okay, chicken is vegan, etc.? Actually, we've put on the website, there's a where we had the list of resources. there's a sample flyer which you can download. It's actually, we used it specifically for Georgia in Tbilisi, but you can customize it. You can reach out to us and we can do a customized version for you, or you can do it yourself. But we made like a really simple sort of sheet where like a list of ingredients, what's vegan, what's not vegan. So people who aren't really familiar are able to refer to that list. And yeah, and also we also included why vegan as well, not just like what's vegan. So for example, we have all three arguments: the ethics, the climate, environment, and health. So one of them will hopefully strike a chord. Hopefully all of them though. But thank you for your question.
I can see a question from anonymous attendee. As a small business owner, there is no getting around. It's more expensive to source plant milks or cheese or really anything. Go to your local grocery store. All of those are usually more expensive than the animal version. It may be necessary to pass that real price difference on to those that want it. I would say as someone from Turkey, we have created some small leaflets and giving links to the cheap ingredients and cheap products that could help the switching period. And the businesses, the cafes and restaurants of Turkey, Ankara, Istanbul, and Izmir found it very helpful. In our case, that is not the case. There are some expensive products, as you say, some cheese and some milks can be expensive, but also there are cheap ones on the market. And it's our job to find the cheap ones and inform the businesses to lead their way, to show their way, and ease their problems for them before they face them. Thank you.
Okay, Eric Sondergeld asks, I am not able to visit 100 restaurants. Do you have any ideas for how to team up with others locally and how to find people to team up with? Great question. I think, well, first of all, reach out to us. Maybe there are other people in your where you live who are thinking the same thing, and we can, connect you. And also, you can think about starting a team. That would be probably the best idea because then you can work together and then coordinate how to do it. But even if you're just one person, what you can do is it starts really little. Like, for example, what I did was I would just drop into random cafes and I would just ask them, oh, do you have plant-based milk by any chance? And they'll say, oh, yes, we got soy milk, we got almond milk. And like, oh, okay, thank you. And then you leave. And then, you just keep doing that, and then sometimes when they don't have plant-based milks, they'll be like, oh, no, sorry, we don't have any. And then if you leave, they feel really disappointed. Like they feel like they disappointed, like they lost a customer. So even just by starting with little things like that, they start to see that, oh, there's a demand for plant-based milk. And so everything you do counts, even if, you don't do it as a full-on, you don't have to like you come in and throw all these, pamphlets and materials and stickers straight away. You can just do it subtly. And then over time, and you ask if you have friends in your cities, or you can ask them to, join you, because the more people there are creating a demand, even without spending a single dime, and you can still show that there is support for plant-based. So you can start that and then reach out to us and we can help you.
There is a question from Mikhail Brixi. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing wrong. Asking, is there a quick way of explaining to staff of a restaurant or a cafe what vegan means without running into issues like no meat, no cream is okay, chicken is vegan, etc.? We have faced such problems in the past. Now we have a small leaflet, not a small leaflet, but a better one. We introduced this leaflet to the business owners to put them on their wall in the kitchen. It's quite kitchen tips. What is vegan? what is not used together with non-vegan things? So all these questions are almost answered in those. So we have so many materials to share with you, to encourage you. If you would like to be on board, you are all welcome. And our materials for.
Great. And Linda Newberry asks, can restaurants that aren't completely plant-based still support the plant-based treaty? Absolutely. When they sign the plant-based treaty, it's like the first step. It's like they're taking a pledge to say we acknowledge that food systems contributing to the climate crisis, and that we are ready to take the first step to make a change. So even if they're not completely plant-based yet, but but when they sign, it's like they're saying, okay, we have to, the ultimate goal is to make it plant-based. So, and then after that, of teams in that city, for example, we can, even if you're a customer, you can start to build relationships with those cafes and help them out as well. And as Neil Good mentioned earlier, there are like so many different ways you can do that. You can, help with training for the staff, and we've got lots of resources you can download and things like that. So absolutely.
Add some more options. How can we make sure they stay on the menu? Good question. Really challenging. How can we do that? We would better, like the tips I shared, team up with all the plant-based or vegan comrades that we know. We can create PBT WhatsApp groups or any platform you like, and we can communicate, tell them where to find plant-based treaty friendly cafes and restaurants, where to find fully vegan cafes and restaurants. Like Happy Cow, we can create our own maps, city maps, and introduce them to our community. And therefore, every time they are encouraged to visit such cafes and restaurants. On the other hand, if we introduce ourselves that we belong to a big community, and we would be advertising their cafe if they decide to put some vegan options to their menu and willing to increase them in time, then our team can support them by visiting, dining there more, or having some events there. So each time a cafe in Ankara, for example, is friendly to us, we always celebrate that beginning with a small event. At least 5, 6 people go there and then go back in 2 months. So they stay there. But sometimes they don't. And this doesn't discourage us because more are coming.
Great. And Gabriela Moreno asks, what advice do you have for getting a hold of decision makers in the restaurant? Usually employees available, but harder to get contact with the owner. Definitely. We also came across that very often, because most of the time when you drop by, it's usually the staff. So we can drop in when it's not as busy. That means you get to talk to the staff, and if the manager or the owner is not there, you can still leave like a leaflet or a card and then follow up with them later. But yeah, sometimes it's a bit of a hit and miss. Sometimes they're not they're not interested, but sometimes they'll pass on the once I visited a restaurant once, and I just gave one of the staff the our leaflets, and the staff were really helpful. And then the next day they messaged us, and the owner of that restaurant actually owned 2 restaurants, and both of them he added one of them signed the plant-based treaty, the other had already previously signed the plant-based treaty, so you'll never know. So yeah, it's basically, it's good to try and like visit regularly, so you get to get to know them better. And then it's basically how it always works like that. When you know people, they'll do more for you. So the key is to start building relationships with businesses.
I can see there are many upcoming questions, so I will answer some of them in at once. Like anonymous attendee and Varsha Naidu is asking about printable materials, etc. They are all in our website. You can use them, you can download them and print them. Please have a look. And in case they don't fit your needs, please let us know. Send me an email and we will create one for you. Because there are always new ideas depending on the region, and there are always new needs depending on the region. We can always create new ones. And I would like to particularly answer Linda Newberry. Can restaurants that aren't completely plant-based still support the plant-based treaty? Totally, and this is our main target because we do not want to live in our vegan island. We want the world to go vegan. So if they are supporting plant-based treaty, we will not let them alone ever. We will start visiting them over and over until they go fully vegan. So any business who is sympathetic to our cause, they are all welcome. They can endorse plant-based treaty, and then we ask, what next? What are you ready for now? How can we help you? That is the answer. And Kimi, if there aren't 100 restaurants or cafes in your city, please let's get together and invest in some, and we can sum up to 100 restaurants. If there aren't 100 restaurants, any number is acceptable, of course.
Okay, and I'm gonna these two questions are very similar, so I'll answer them in one as well. So with restaurants and Bhavya Bardwaj, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, asks, is there any pitch available on how to approach restaurants or businesses? So yeah, the opening conversation is always it's the key. So do whatever you're comfortable with, because sometimes like we found like from our team there were more people who are shy and have social anxiety. So if you, for example, go in pairs, that might be easier for you. And you don't have to like start straight away and say, oh, will you add plant-based options? You can just drop in and say, oh, this is a nice cafe, do you have like plant-based options? And then then you can start a conversation there, because you're just show that you're interested in plant-based milks and plant-based food. And then if you want, you can hand them the flyer, especially if they're busy and they don't have time. But if you have time to have a conversation with them, you can just let it flow naturally. And but if you do want like specific points, maybe you can ask them about, or for example, or you can just say that like you're very environmentally conscious, or that you don't want to eat animal products, for example, and why it's important for you, and you'd like to see like more options. And also it helps to like mm, have like examples of like other businesses that, because like we mentioned earlier how there are like fully vegan businesses everywhere that are thriving. So you can show like it's actually popular, it's delicious, and people love it. So hopefully they can be more confident about adding more options. Hopefully they can go fully vegan actually. But Jürgen, did you want to take maybe a couple more?
Oh, I think I'm going from another direction. So I see, Max, do we speak to the business owner or anyone, to someone? I always talk to the owner or the manager of the restaurant to save my time, because usually the workers or anyone there working might be so helpful, but they are not the decision makers. It's always best to talk to the owner or the manager, I would say. And also Shelby Womanizer says, I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and my group is hoping to speak with 2 local restaurants that serve food about removing. Do you call, email in advance to set up a time? Depending on the official approach of that restaurant, it might not be a good idea to just jump in and start the conversation. Maybe it would be best to send an email first. But I think I cannot remember now. One of our chapters succeeded in deleting photographs from the menu. That our experience might help you. Please email us because these questions are just running. If you could email us, we would really like to help you with that. Thank you.
Okay, and so before we finish, if we've been talking a lot about the materials, if you would like some help with, for example, customizing the flyers, or if you want to download our stickers or anything like that, you can reach out to Zainab from the graphics team and she will be able to help you out. And I will just put her email in the chat. And we're so stoked. We've got so many questions. Unfortunately, we aren't able to get to all of them. But if we weren't able to answer your question, but you would like us to answer it, you can get in touch with us. Write to nilgun@plantbasedtreaty.org or hoshimi@plantbasedtreaty.org. And we thank you so very much for joining, and we're really looking forward to hearing your success stories. If you go visit restaurants and cafes, you can always like take photos with them, and if they add new dishes, take photos of those dishes and send it to us, or you can post it on your social media and you can tag us at plantbasedtreaty.org on Instagram and Facebook. We'd love to see all the great work you're doing there. And Nilgün, pass to you.
Yeah, just same things Hoshimi asked you to do. Please reach us. We are here to help in case you want to push forward this wonderful campaign because we can change it. We can change the world. I'm so hopeful about it. And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you and see you next time. Bye.